Hello, it is a pleasure to be here. It's my first PRF that I'm attending, and it's an honor to be a speaker on this forum. I will try to perform and present my subject as best as I can. So, my name is Konstantinos Vallianos. I'm coming from Greece. I work in a roastery company called Cafe Atera, and I'm the green coffee buyer. I have been a long background in the coffee industry in various positions, starting from logistics to trade execution, and in 2016, since 2016, I'm in the specialty coffee sector of coffee. Now my role it is the selection and quality assessment for green coffee for our roastery. And while I'm occupied with the purchasing of coffees most regularly, I have to follow up also the global news and the global trends. So today we are going to discuss about if high-end coffees remain a growing trend. But first, let's define what we mean with the term high-end coffees. High-end coffees usually are coffees which are scoring above 88 ACA score points. They are produced in small lots, in small batches, under innovative processing methods, controlled fermentation, and usually they concern also some more exotic varietals. While high-end coffees remain a part of the specialty group, they have totally different characteristics, and we should probably treat them differently because they are more premium products of higher price, and of course their market is niche. What we mean with the term growing trend, exactly the trend that will continue on the long term and is increasing, not over one region, but in many, many regions. So I would like to take a step back and see a little bit what has been happening in the world over the last couple of years, because actually this will be the context. This will be where I understand it affects more the trend of high-end coffees or not. Over the last 4 years, we've seen the market dynamics changing across the globe. We have seen difficult situations like the pandemic, the shutdowns, after that war and energy crisis, inflation waves over a number of economies and countries, which have definitely played a key role and affected the demand of luxury products and in consequence also high-end coffees. The increased cost of food, energy, transport, housing, rent, you can see that it has all gone up over the last years across main continents and countries. Furthermore, the traditional specialty coffee markets, they show signs of mature and saturation. That means that they have gone through various waves of specialty coffee, and apparently they have settled in more balanced and rational decisions as to what they will buy and what they will offer in the coffee shops. So what we have been noticing is that the traditional markets that have been buying high-end coffees, like Europe or US, they're showing signs of slowing down in demand. On the other side of the coin, there are new markets which are coming into the front scene, mainly coming from the East. China, Southeast Asia, and Middle East are developing their specialty coffee scene quite intensively, and therefore they're stepping into the demand for specialty coffees and also high-end products like high-end coffees. And this has been also been reflected in a certain extent to auctions and Cup of Excellence auctions, for example, where we see a very big participation of companies and roasteries which are originating from those countries. And this trend, according to analysis, it's going to continue as far as concerns the consumer buying power. According to reports, these will be probably the countries which over the next 10 years will continue to grow and will continue to strengthen their buying power. This creates challenges to producers because there is this shift to different territories are making more hard to find and track the new buyers and understand better what those markets demand. Of course, with the globalization and the technology, nowadays it's far more easy to connect the two parties, the buyers and the sellers. There are platforms and instruments that can bring those two together, but still there is a great challenge for producers and for buyers alike to execute these kind of trades, especially when they come to new territories where new regulations, local taxations, trade restrictions might be in place, and this is something that usually we find out only on the last minute when the coffee is already going to the place. And more of that, producers, they are having also new challenges to cater the different cultural tastes and preferences. What has been used as a cup profile before in countries and areas like US or Europe or Scandinavia might not fit exactly to the cup profile that these new markets are looking for. Roast coffees or anaerobic coffees might have a different approach and different acceptance from the new markets. Furthermore, we also need to understand that high-end coffees are very vulnerable to trends, and trends change quite frequently in all markets. Trends and hype, this is something that is mainly happening from the new generation, that they like one product this year, but they might like another one the next. So it's also quite difficult for the producers to follow up what's going on, and by the time they are into a product, the trend has changed. It usually takes two to tango, as they say. So from the one side, it has to be a solid, continuous demand of high-end products, but on the other side, it also has to be incentives for the producers to produce these kind of products. Usually high-end coffees require much more labor-intense procedures which increase the cost. They require infrastructure, they require machine and control instruments that you control the fermentation, and all these increase the cost. At a certain point, it comes down to the producer to decide if it's worth taking the extra step and if he will have the return on his investment. And assess also the risk that these kind of exotic and experimental fermentations, they don't have a solid track record yet. They're only recently introduced in the past. So we still need time to understand a little bit the mechanics and the science behind it before, let's say, take them on a larger scale production. So the risk of going off track is a little bit too much. On the other side, also, it comes to the coffee roasters and the coffee shops, that they are facing similar challenges. They are facing higher costs, higher rents, and they have to decide at a certain point if it is rational and viable economically to invest on coffees which cost much, much higher. And in the end, they don't know if they can base their yearly, let's say, demand on these kind of coffees, because actually the availability is much less. Quality has been the key driver for the specialty industry. So in a certain extent, it is the consumers that require today to seek premium quality products. That's a trend that seems to keep going on and keep growing, and they are also looking products that align with their values. As such, the demand for sustainable and ethically sourced coffees is growing more and more over all markets in general, and this probably should make roasters prioritize what they are looking in terms of if it's going to be specialty coffee or high-end specialty coffee. In my own opinion, and what I've seen over my time on trading specialty coffee, I see that both green coffee buyers, traders, and roasters alike, they are more interested and keen to focus on coffees which score between 82 and 86 nowadays, which are offering a very good value and or quality for money, than going to the top of the pyramid, the experimental coffees of 89 plus, which are usually used for either competitions or coffee aficionados. In terms of growing trend, in terms of buying interest, I would say that if it was in my decision, I would definitely go for those coffees between 82 up to 86. This belt of score, starting with, provides definitely new markets. It can open up new markets and long-term partnerships. 89 plus coffees, they do have their audience, but when economic situations are getting harder, this part is squeezed, and it's more difficult, let's say, to find the buyers. So yeah, at the end, high-end specialty coffees, yes, they still have their niche markets, but demand is reaching a plateau. Or at least it's volatile and fluctuating from the one territory to the other, so it's difficult to keep a track on it. Furthermore, we also expect that coffee drinks preparation are reaching their max optimization, so customers and consumers are focusing more on quality and consistency. As there's an old saying in our industry saying that, yeah, every coffee has its home. And that's true. Either this is a standard grade or a specialty grade or even a high-end coffee. You can find a suitable home for them. But I honestly believe that high-end coffees, it's more difficult to track, being a premium, a luxury product, while the general specialty coffee that we mentioned before have more consistency, a broader global market reach, and according to reports, they will be growing over the next 10 years quite significantly. So it makes more sense to go to that direction unless, let's say, you are more into the high-end things. So that was my presentation. Thank you.